So the app we're actually looking at in this session is called ACRE Scouts. If you go to your app store and then type in ACRE Scouts, download it down. It's a free app currently, but it shows up in this icon right up here, ear of corn with the blue background. So we'll go ahead and click on that and open that app up. When it first opens up, if you've never opened it before, it's going to ask you whether or not you want it to use your current location. You're going to go ahead and hit OK. And that allows it to use the GPS within your actual PDA mobile device. All right. So we can actually zoom in to the area in question if we want to. If we go ahead and hit down in this bottom left-hand corner, this is the GPS icon. If I click on that, it will zoom in to where my GPS beacon is, and that takes us right to where our office is. We can take a look at that. When we look at this up top, just some generalities here. We have a map, satellite or hybrid. We can click on satellite and it'll load a satellite image there in the background. We can click hybrid and it'll put both of them both together. So that works perfect for us. A couple other things to look at. Right now, down here at the bottom, this is a transparency. This is a transparency bar that I can slide back and forth. We don't have an image up there, so it's really not doing anything right now. We're on the world map right now, which means I can move around on the screen, scan it back and forth. If I pinch my fingers together, putting them both on there, I zoom out. If I spread them apart, I zoom in. Alright, and if we go to the camera, notice when we touch the camera instance down here, our menus across the top change, and we get this little icon up here, a Polaroid picture. If we click on that, we get two options. Here's where we're going to pull in our image, either from our device library, which would be a picture that we've taken, say, of a map or a yield monitor or something, on our actual iPad or phone, or we can link it to a Dropbox account if we want to. So the very first time, if we have a Dropbox account where these images are, we will have to hit the link button to be able to link to our Dropbox account. And then we're going to have to hit allow, basically saying we're going to allow ACRE Crop Scouts access to our Dropbox. Once we do that, the pictures in our Dropbox account will show up here. So I can click on this picture right here and then go up to load, and we're actually going to hit load and bring it up. Alright, and boom, there the picture shows up. I can grab this picture and move it wherever I want. Alright, and I can do the same thing. Two fingers together and I pinch it, I make it smaller. Spread it out, I make it bigger, and if I put two fingers on, I can rotate it back and forth. So now we need to line this picture up with the image underneath. So we can run this transparency bar down here at the bottom, run that transparency, and then basically resize this image, stretch it, turn it, whatever we need to do to get it lined up. When we look along here, our field lines up. We look over here, that field line lines up, the pond lines up on top of it, and we can check that by running our transparency bar in and out and seeing how that image, the placement of the buildings and stuff doesn't actually change all that much. So you won't be able to get it exactly perfect every time, but you should be able to get it relatively close. Alright, so once we do that, we want to go down here to the bottom and lock that actual image. And now when we zoom out, that picture stays where it's supposed to be. And if I scroll to the left, every time that picture redraws in that same spot. So it's locked to that position. If I were to go outside right now with our GPS dot, you would see that GPS dot moving across the top of this field. So whether that's an image I get from an aerial application or aerial flight company, or whether that's a picture I had printed out and I took a picture of it with my iPad, then brought it up in here and referenced it. So I can actually take a picture, say of a yield map that I have printed off, bring it in just like this and reference it right to those same boundary lines, lock it, and now I can walk out across it. Alright? That's pretty simple, pretty easy to do. The only other thing you may want to do probably is come down here to the save button, and if we hit the save, we'll actually name this. Say this is the field editor office. It's a good idea to put the field name in there and then say the date that you're wanting to to save it as. So now, later on, if I want to come back to this, I can go to the load, I can pick the office, and I know what date that picture is taken. So as I get subsequent pictures in there, different fields, I don't have to re-reference them or re-pull them in all the time. I can just pull up the saved ones that I have. Couple other features probably worth noting are when we go in here, say, click on this pencil, we can actually draw on the map if we want. If we see zones out here we want to visit, we can draw on that map and then go back out there and get to those spots for dividing stuff up or anything like that. It's just basically a nodes layer. You can come up here and hit the delete button and bring all those off. The other way to reference it is through these point system. Alright, so you have this double-sided arrow down here, and then you end up with two icons on the map, and you have photo and map. So you can move these around to two known points within the photo. When you go to the map, you want to move it to those two same known points within the map. Alright, and then you can hit over here in the top right, you can hit the align button, and it will actually move that image. So one way to kind of show you that would be, so realize down here at the bottom, whenever we're on the world, we're moving that background map. Whenever we move to the image, we're moving the image. So if we set these up side by side, say, then go to that align tool. We want to align on the map, say these 2 points, and then we want to align on the photo, those same 2 points, and hit align, and it'll shift that map over to where it's supposed to be. Alright, it's not always perfect, and how good of a job you do lining those points up will make a difference. So you may still want to come in and do some tweaking to get everything just right. I find that it takes a little bit of a steady hand to be able to reference them by just pulling them in, but once you get used to it after a while, it actually goes pretty quick and you get really good at it. So we're going to make sure we lock it, so then once we lock it, now it's all going to show up there. All right? And that's essentially it. We can save these files and we can load them up later on. You will have to have an internet connection when you're referencing these fields because you need the Google Earth background. It has to download that from the internet. With this app, you don't necessarily have to have a data plan, though. If you reference the fields inside maybe where you have a Wi-Fi connection and save them, then you can pull them up out in the field and they'll be in the right location, and you don't necessarily have to have a data plan. But you will have to have an iPad capable of doing a data plan, because that's where the GPS receiver comes in. If you have a Wi-Fi only iPad model, you do not have the GPS capabilities. So I hope this has been rather informative. Thank you for your time.